We go to our next performer out of Torrance, California. He was originally born and raised in the Philippines. He moved to California in 2012. He serves as a worship leader at his church in Torrance that he goes to. He's a great performer, not only on the Red Room stage, but on the Christian Media Spotlight stage as well. Please welcome June Victoria to the stage. June, how are you, sir? Thank you for being with us.
June. There you go. There you go.
How you
Good
doing,
afternoon,
June?
Red Room. Good afternoon. Glad to be back.
What's been keeping you busy in the last little bit since you've last been on Red's Room?
Writing songs and my 15 hours job. Sad. But I still find time to write songs.
Well, we appreciate. We always love your gifting to write talent and music that just impacts people, as it is done on both of our platforms. What's the first song you've got to share with us here tonight on this edition of Red Room?
The first one is "God, You Are Awesome." New. You heard about that, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay, let's start. Can I? Wait. Let me see if I'm on the right key. Hold on. Is there anything that's too hard for you? You're the creator of the heavens and the earth. There's just someone that can tell you what to do when you're the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. All the mountains quake before you, and the hills melt away. The earth trembles at your presence. For you are holy, holy, holy. You are awesome. You are awesome. Your name above all names. You are worthy of all faith. You are awesome. You are awesome. Is there anything that's too hard for you? You're the creator of the heavens and the earth. Is there someone that can tell you what to do when you're the King of Kings and Lord of Lords? All the mountains quake before you, and the hills melt away. The earth trembles at your presence. For you are holy, holy, holy. You are awesome. You are awesome. All the mountains quake before you, and the hills melt away. The earth trembles at your presence. For you are holy, holy, holy. You are awesome. You are awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
That was absolutely amazing, Jim Victoria. And I am hosting now for Joseph Neal. I'm Jessica Belfi, if you don't know who I am. Welcome to Red's Room, especially from me and my heart, and from Jim Victoria and all of the rest of the Red's Room artists for this evening. We are so honored to have all of you, so grateful to have all of you as well. I'm so happy to be here. Jim Victoria, what else do you have for us tonight?
First, I remember you. That's for I'm on my second song. Hello.
Hey, June, just real quick, do you have original sound on?
Wait, I think so. Wait, let me see. Yeah, it's an original sound. It should be off, right? So it
No,
means
you
it's
want
on.
it to stay on.
I thought, okay, that's on. Hello, check.
Yes, that should be better.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, where are we? Should I continue?
Yes, you are good to go.
Okay, my next song is an old one. It's like a prayer. Yeah, it's a prayer for our loved ones. And although there'll be no tears in heaven, it's just like toying with the idea. If we're going there without our relatives or our loved ones, it's kind of sad to know that we'll be separated forever. So, although theologically or doctrinally there will be no more tears in heaven, it's just playing the idea, the thought that what if we have unsaved loved ones and we'll be separated from us forever. So it birthed to this song. It's called Cry. I'd rather cry in my prayers, even night after night, until you hear me, Lord. Reach for my loved ones too, who are still in the dark, 'cause I know that they need you. So I will cry, I'll cry to you, Lord. I'll cry for them until these tears flows like a river into your sea of love, until you hear me prayer. Set my loved ones free, 'cause I don't want to have these tears in my eyes when it's time for me to worship you in heaven. I don't want to have these tears in my eyes when it's time for me to worship you in heaven. So I will cry, I'll cry to you, Lord. I'll cry for them until these tears flows like a river into your sea of love, until you hear me prayer and set my loved ones free. 'Cause I don't want to have these tears in my eyes when it's time for me to worship you in heaven. I don't want to have these tears in my eyes when it's time for me to worship you in heaven. I don't want to have these tears in my eyes, knowing that someone I love is lost forever.
Cry by June Victoria. June, I have a question for you. What inspired you to write that song? A lot of the times when, as artists, we write songs out of a place in our heart where there's vulnerability, and I was just curious, what brought you to a place of writing Cry?
The sad reality that some of our loved ones will not choose Christ. They will
Right.
like they will, no
Right.
matter what we do, they will just be polite, but still, deep inside they're not there yet. So what we can do is prayer, just pray
Right.
for them.
Right. Yeah. There's a travail that happens when we pray for our friends and our family, and those that don't know Christ in general. What happens spiritually, that we get God's heart for those people and how much He actually yearns and desires for us. So I really enjoyed that because it just reminded me of how much God truly cares about us.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about, God being with us and Emmanuel and Jesus, and we just are coming off of Easter. But I mentioned this last time I hosted, the gravity of God's love, it can't be comprehended. Even when we sin, even when we fall short, there's so much grace in that. And I feel like the people that don't know Christ, they don't know the gravity of His love and the reality of grace. There's hardly a conviction of grace in their hearts until they truly experience the Lord. So yeah, that's a beautiful prayer and a beautiful song, and I'm grateful to have heard it. And I'm sure you have blessed a lot of people on here as well.
Actually, I was praying like 15 years ago. I was praying for a new guitar, and I played that song in church, and one of the members was blessed, and he gave me a really expensive guitar. It was, wow, yeah.
Wow.
I can still remember that because of the song.
Wow. There was actually a time I had written a song and I thought nothing of it. And there was a talent show at a summer camp that I was going to. And I was convicted to try out for the talent show. And I did. And I had left the tryouts, not thinking of it. I didn't think I was going to get in. It's a summer camp. It's a small camp. There's only probably about 250 kids, maybe. And I'm sitting at the table with the other worship leaders and the people that are, enjoying their time up at the camp. And the youth pastor, the guy that's in charge of this whole thing, comes bolting into the cafeteria where I was sitting. Goes, Jessica, I need to talk to you. And I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this dude is like so bold for Jesus. It's almost like the reverence of the Lord is just right there with that. You could just see it on him. There's a reverence for him. For Jesus on him. And I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know what I did wrong. And he goes, do you know how important that song was that you wrote? And I says, no, I just got it from Jesus. And he says, well, you need to do that song tonight, and you need to do it well. And I'll be sitting there front row while you're giving the message of this song because of how important it is. And I'm starting to panic a little bit. I'm like, there's pressure to this song. You don't realize, as an artist, how much pressure and spiritually things move when you worship. And I'm sitting there and I'm singing this song, and God's completely in the room. And the next thing you know, a couple hours later, there's a guy, this one of my friends, he comes up to me, he says, Jessica, I'm not going to lie to you. God touched me through that song. I was really depressed. I was really anxious. I was pretty much going to go home and commit suicide. Because of that song, God convicted me to stay. And that was like, whoa, that was, you don't think about it until, God lays a message on your heart to continually pray for people. And, worship is just a prayer, a continual prayer for something more to move. And it's just showing God how worthy he truly is.
Actually, I'm really old, 54, but my experience is don't work too hard on your own. Just find where God is working and join in the work.
Yeah.
You don't make your own way. It's really God who does the work, and just join, be available anytime, any place.
That's always where he asks us to be, is to just be available and be obedient to the call that he has placed on our lives and to live a life worthy of the gospel.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times we don't, we think of what the gospel actually is. And when was the last time you told somebody the gospel? And you start asking yourself these questions, and you're like, oh gosh, am I actually in your will? Like, God, am I in your will? Am I in your purpose? Am I in your understanding? Am I in your perspective? And when you don't understand God's perspective on things, that's where faith comes in, because you have to trust his perspective on things. It's greater than our own understanding, lean not on your own understanding, but on the way of the Lord.
I love
And
that.
we could all probably say that we've probably leaned on our own understanding more than we'd care to admit.
Yeah, that's the pitfall of an artist or anyone who's talented. They tend to rely on their talent or their gifts, and tend to forget where it came from.
Yeah. I think when we start worshiping the gift more than the God that gave us those gifts, the Church of Corinth had that exact same problem. That's why you have those 2 books of Corinthians, because people started to worship the gift and focus on the issue of the person rather than the spiritual reset that needed to happen with God and the refocus that needed to happen with God. So, as worshipers, as artists, as people of God, to focus on the attitude of worship and what that means, and be available in the vulnerability and obedience of God continually. It's not just a Sunday morning thing. It's a reverence daily to understand, God, I don't want to be in my way anymore. I want to be in yours. Yeah. So.
Whoa. Reset. That's a good word. Reset. Yeah, because right now, people are more worshiping the worship instead of the object of worship, which is God, which is Jesus. They love the music, the lights, the smoke.
Yeah.
And it's sad. Yeah, but we have to reset. Yeah, renewing our mind. That's the point.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to reset with you.
Okay.
What else do you have for us tonight, June?
Okay. Because of what you're saying, I need to replace my lineup, and this is only you, or like I need you, because the Lord said, "I am the vine; you're just the branches. Without me, you cannot do nothing." So let us remind ourselves, no matter what, how comfortable we are, or the other way, on our own, we cannot do it. We need God, and this is I need you. My life ain't perfect, it's not what it should be. With all the good intentions, something get the best of me. My dreams keep changing when reality steps in. When my wings start slipping, I'd rather fly near and low. That's why I need you like the sky needs blue. Without you I'm raining, you're the sun in my shining Jesus. I need you, there's nothing that will do. Without you I'm wanting, cause the only good in me is you. Sorry, wrong harp. You're my contentment, satisfy my soul, despite the worldly cravings. To you I rather all my fresh spring of water when I thirst for something better. The world we try to offer, but my soul is only hungry for you. Only you, Jesus, only you. That's why I need you like the sky needs blue. Without you I'm raining, you're the sun in my shining, Jesus. I need you, there's nothing that will do. Without you I'm mourning, 'cause the only good in me is you. Yeah, I forgot to change my harp. That's funny. Okay.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. We don't realize how much we need Jesus until we're in moments of worship and reflection, just like this.
You've been moving around.
I have been moving around. I just got out of my car. My car was really, really hot. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, absolutely,
Mostly.
absolutely.
My next song is still on our topic, the love of God, and you know, the love of God makes us surrender, or makes us give everything to Him, no matter what. When we realize, despite of our situation or our character, still He chose to love us, not because of what we've done, but because He is love. So this, when you realize this, there's no way to go back to Him, to His love. It's like His grace and love is like a home for our soul. And if we're not in God's grace or in God's will, we will try everything, but still it won't satisfy us. So we just go home and surrender. This is called surrender. Actually, this is from my Tagalog song that I translated in English for you people, so we can so more will understand the message of the song is surrender. And I will check my harp this time. Okay, and then some magic. This song is called Surrender. How long I've been running from your love, hiding in the shadow, thinking that you wouldn't see. But your goodness and your mercy always following me. And your love is like an arrow showing me where I should be. So God, here I am, with my sins and my shame. Would you take me, I am, just as I am. I surrender to you, Lord, my heart and my soul. Lord, I'm giving you control. I surrender to you, Lord. I'm giving out the fight. God, I'm giving you my life. So now here I stand, I'm raising my hand. At your feet I will fall. I'm giving you all. Oh God of second chances, your grace never ends. Would you give me one more chance to serve you again? As far as the east is from the west, cast away. Forgive me of my sins and let me try again. So I stand. I'm raising my hand. At your feet I will fall. I'm giving you all. I surrender to you, Lord. My heart and my soul, God, I'm giving you control. I surrender to you, Lord. I'm giving up the fight, Lord, I'm giving you my life. So now here I stand, I'm raising my hand. At your feet I will fall. I'm giving you all. I surrender to you, Lord. I'm giving you my life. I'm giving you my soul. I surrender to you, Lord. I'm giving up the fight. God, I'm giving you my rights. So now here I stand. I'm raising my hand. At your feet I will fall. I'm giving you all. I surrender. Lord, I surrender. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, June. I think in this moment, like, we should all remember what it means to actually be fully surrendered to Christ. And what the sacrifice was, that he truly gave it all so we could live for him.
Mm-hmm.
And what that sacrifice truly means, no matter where he goes, you know, what it means when we say the words yes to the Lord. You know, what it means to truly surrender in fullness and give him our ways for his will.
You know what makes God's grace more amazing? Realize that we don't even know that we're blind until he opens our eyes. We don't even know that we're dead until he breathes life in us and then show himself to us. It's all his grace. We're not even looking at it, just like the Roman says, no one looks for God, no one knows God. It's just God step out of his throne and then, hey, I'm here, I love you, I'm saving you. That's what makes grace all amazing, because on our own we cannot choose him. It is his. Even our faith comes from him. That's what is awesome. The difference between us and the sinner right now is just his grace, because without his grace we can't even stand here, we can't even know God on our own. We have our own religion, our own set of righteousness, but
and those standards always fall, you know.
Exactly.
And that's like you said, that's the beauty of his grace. And I can tell that this has been a theme for the past couple of weeks, especially on Red's Room, is, you know, the establishment of God's grace through it all, the sustainability that he is, the establishment that he is, that we don't have to make our own set of rules of righteousness anymore. You know, the ways that we used to live, we don't have to follow that anymore. We've got Jesus, and in Jesus we have grace, but that doesn't mean we abuse that grace. That's where the conviction comes in and the reverence comes in. And I feel like a lot of the times we're like, okay, yeah, God forgives me. Yes, he does, but scripture also clearly states that we're not supposed to abuse the grace that we have. And, God's clearly experienced that based all throughout the Old Testament. And, continually, even now. But what that means for us is that we can live in freely because of Jesus and the true redemptive power of what that means. It's beautiful. Absolutely. Thank you so much, June, for your
It's my
time.
mom.
Oh, your mom?
I have one. I have one last song,
Yeah.
and I totally changed my lineup, because of our conversation.
God sometimes does that.
And this is one of my oldest song, "Lost Without You." And yeah, again, no matter who you are, what you have, or where you've been, what you achieve, without Jesus, we're lost. We're just lost. We're just floating in the air, doing our own thing for nothing. And this is "Lost Without You." These things that stand between us, I gladly throw away. 'Cause for me you are far better than anything in this world, my Lord. Sweet Jesus, no one could ever take your place. There's no one can compare with your love, with your grace, the warmth of your embrace. How could I live without you when I was born for you? Every breath I take is a prayer for you, 'cause I'm lost without you. Oh, I don't mind if I don't have treasures to hold, but without you I'm so cold. For the sun won't shine and the rain will fall. For Jesus, you're my all. How could I live without you when I was born for you? Every breath I take is a prayer for you, 'cause I'm lost without you. I don't mind if I don't have treasures to hold, Without you, I'm so cold. For the sun won't shine and the rain will fall. For Jesus, you're my all. How could I live without you? When I was born for you, every breath I take is a prayer for you. 'Cause I'm lost without you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lord, I'm lost without you. Whoa, oh, I'm lost without you. Glory to God.
Thank you so, so much for that reminder. I think, we forget. We forget how lost we become when we don't have God, or when we don't have God. It's easy to forget, it's easy to take for granted God's grace, especially when we have it. We don't recognize it. And, that's why we're talking about the character of worship, the heart of worship, what it truly means to be in worship. And to remember how lost we are without him, and how lost we are without Jesus. It's a scary thought, but it's also a beautiful thought, because without Jesus now we don't have anything.
Yeah, it's like based on my experience again. This is the perks of being old. You have wisdom and experience, and until we have another comfort zone aside from Jesus Christ, He will see to it that He will empty you. He will sometimes hide from you, like a parent in the mall when they try to hide from their baby, and then the baby will feel lost, and then they show himself. Now it's the relationship is more intimate. It's like He will empty us until we realize that we cannot be filled with anything else but the Lord Jesus Christ, and then
There's a
That's-
recognition that needs to take place.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your
You're
heart of
welcome.
worship, and your beautiful soul, and just the reverence that you have of God through your music, and your willingness and obedience to share that with us tonight. We are so grateful and humble to have you here tonight, Juno. It's
Oh, you're
beautiful.
welcome. The honor is mine.